So soon after, you started thinking about cybersecurity.
No, before.
Before.
Well, before.
Take us through kind of how this this theme of your learning helps you and has helped you and helps us deal with a new threat, the cybersecurity.
So, after the Oklahoma City bombing, which you remember was an 18-wheeler truck filled with explosives, blew an entire federal building down, and other buildings for blocks around.
Killed a lot of kids.
Killed a lot of kids. The president said, let's do a review of our vulnerability. What if that 18-wheeler had been at an AT&T node?
Yeah.
Or on some key bridge somewhere. Let's do a review of our vulnerability. What are the critical nodes in this country? And how vulnerable are they? Well, the first thing I said was, the White House is one of them, and it's very vulnerable. And he said, what do you mean? I said, if you put that 18-wheeler on Pennsylvania Avenue, the White House would be leveled.
Yeah.
So the next day I closed Pennsylvania Avenue. People have never gotten over that. They don't like me for that. But we established a commission, and we got General Marsh out of retirement, Air Force General, to run it, and gave him a good-sized staff and a fair amount of money and said, come back in 18 months. And he did, and he came back with a very thick report, and it was all about cybersecurity. He said, he and the commission said...
What year was this?
This is 97.
97.
They said, during your presidency, Mr. Clinton, the world has changed. It's changing in front of us. And the entire country is now becoming dependent on information networks.
Right.
Dependent. Without those networks running, the country won't run. This hadn't been true 10 years earlier. Now it was true. No one ever said that before. No one ever sat down and said, let's make a decision as a country to become dependent on IT networks. There was no decision. There was no law that the Congress had passed. There was no national plan or anything. It happened. And it was great because our productivity went through the roof because of it. If you look at the productivity by years, you get to the early, mid-90s and it goes right through the roof.
Yeah.
But this commission said it creates a dependency and a vulnerability. And you need a plan to deal with that vulnerability because there will be malicious actors. That commission absolutely nailed it. And so the president read it and looked at me and said, so you're in charge of this now? I said, no. No. I have a job, thank you very much, and I know nothing about this. And he said, well, no one else does either. Which it wasn't true, but it was true in the government. It was at least true in the policy world. No one
Civilian government.
Yeah. Like NSA,
NSA, no.
Ken Minahan was out at NSA doing great things, but not too many people knew about that.
Right.
So I got stuck with this job. And I said, I don't know shit about this. And I thought, well, I can call Microsoft, Cisco, Oracle, and since I'm calling from the White House, I can call the CEO.
Yeah.
So I did. And I went to the CEOs at Microsoft and Oracle and Cisco and Symantec and said, you got to teach me about this. And I had a fire hose education from all of those companies. And what I realized was they were all in silos. You guys at AT&T were doing a great job of what you did, but you didn't worry about the fact that the Microsoft software sucked. Well, you might have worried about it.
I worried about it.
But you couldn't do much about it, right?
It's gotten better.
It's gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
It couldn't get any worse from what it was. But all of these people were worrying about routers, they were worrying about networks, they were worrying about operating systems. Nobody was looking at it holistically.
Yeah.
And then I went out to NSA and spent a few days and said, show me what we can do. And it was mind-blowing. back then. And I came back to the White House and said, I'm not sure we should worry about this cybersecurity stuff, because if other people can do what NSA can do, there's no way of defending against it.
Yeah.
And I think at that point in time that was true.
Yeah.
Not true now.